welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, thanks so much for being here. Well, we're going to highlight the sponsor of the show today, which is called the Estuary, which is based in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. And Heather Milardo, the Director of Development of the Estuary, is my guest today. And so nice to have you. Thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
You know, Stan was here, the Executive Director, a while ago, started us off when we first started our sponsorship, and I'm so glad that he has sent you to come and be a new voice for the Estuary to talk about what's going on there, what your responsibilities are, who you are, so on and so forth.
Okay, I'm happy to do that.
Why don't we, what I like to do for the guest, our viewers, is to kind of take the viewer back into your background. Can you tell us about yourself? Where have you been? What have you been doing before you got to the Estuary?
Before I got there, I actually started with a software company out of college working specifically for nonprofits and realized after about a year there that my heart wasn't really on that side of things. It really was with nonprofits themselves. So I made the career switch over into doing fundraising for nonprofits in my area. We've moved a few times, but I always seem to come back to our older population. I worked for a continuing care community for a while, took a brief hiatus. I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and whenever I came back, did some work for a land trust, and then a position at the Estuary opened up. And really that was where, that was back to where my heart was. So it was an easy transition to come back into that. So it's been lovely, but no, I think I've, like I said, I've been doing development for nonprofits for about over 20 years now.
Wow, that long.
So yes.
And of course, the viewer's probably going to say, what does she mean, development of nonprofits? Yes. What does that mean?
Development is just another word for fundraising, but it really incorporates a lot more than just the fundraising piece of it. So fundraising is what I think when you say fundraising, a lot of people think special events and things like that, but development is really more all-encompassing than that. It's really about building relationships with people and communicating your message so that people care about what you care about and what you're doing. So that's really, it's kind of that overarching development is that umbrella of doing all of the fundraising and the grant writing and the relationship building that helps support all levels of the organization.
Is it hard to do something like that? Did you learn it along the way? Are there classes? How does somebody become somebody such as yourself?
There are classes. So I have, they have certificate programs where you go. So I got my certificate program through Villanova. And they help walk you through all the different aspects of being a development person. But a lot of it is learning as you go, because part of it is grant writing. Grant writing's always changing. It depends on the organization. So you do learn that as you go, hosting events and doing fundraising events. That's kind of the same thing. You're learning as you go. So you can learn the basics. There are certifications that you get to teach you that, and then you just learn based on your organization what's going to fit. The things that fit for one organization aren't necessarily going to fit for another. So it really is kind of an on-the-job learning experience, and it always changes too. Development used to be very event heavy. Now it's not as much. So it's making sure that you keep up with that as well. And there's a lot of continuing education things that you can do to make sure that you're really on the cutting edge of what's happening now.
The Estuary, people are probably thinking, what the heck is the Estuary? Even though I've talked about it and shown the show, tell us what the Estuary is all about.
The Estuary is really an adult community center. We've gotten away from calling it a senior center because it has a different connotation. So despite it being a senior center, we serve people ages 50 and over. I don't think I know a single 50-year-old that considers themselves a senior. So we're really trying to work with people to make sure that they understand that what we're doing is just being a resource and a community center but specifically for adults. So the Estuary does that, and we do it in a variety of ways. So it's all resources you need to age healthy and independently. So we have everything. Stan has talked about the Meals on Wheels program. That's critical. We have probably about 250 to 300 people at any given time that are part of that meal program.
Wow.
We have a congregate lunch program in-house through 4 different locations where we provided a daily meal service. all told, we're putting out 90,000 meals a year for people who need that nutritional service. We do transportation for people who need to get to doctor's appointments, who aren't able to drive anymore. So you have that end of it, but then it's the whole way down. We have a fitness program. We have a lot of different fitness classes. We have a gym on site. There's paint classes. So that kind of continuing education and enrichment for people, just so that they can really live their best life as they're aging, whether they're still working or they're retired. We would just want to make sure that we're a support system for people no matter what they need. We have a social worker on staff that helps, especially following the pandemic. There was a lot of anxiety and depression and stuff caused by the isolation. So to have her on staff has been a boon for us. We're very excited to be able to offer that service to people. So like I said, it's really just being a resource for whatever people need, and that's always changing as well. As the population changes, our services change because what people need changes. So we just want to make sure that we adapt to that. So it really is a full resource for our older adult community.
This show deals with arts, entertainment, and culture. And people are probably thinking, oh, the Estuary, place to go, things to do. But you just mentioned painting. Are there creative things to do there?
There are creative things to do. So we have multiple paint classes that people can be a part of. We're in the process of putting together a group of carolers to be part of the Saybrook Starlight Festival. We had a happy hour last week. We had 100 people join us. We had live music and a gorgeous, lively band. So there are a lot of things for people to do no matter what their interest is. And some of it is that we have book clubs, we have card games, we have things like that. But there is the painting and the drawing and music that's really there for people as well. If they are more creative, or if even they just want to explore that, that's an option for them. They can learn as they go as well.
My mother gave me a complimentary gift certificate, if you will, to the gym.
Okay.
So I spent some time at the gym for quite some time, had to wear a mask. How did the pandemic affect your facility, and are you still wearing masks?
I'll answer the second part. We actually, just as of this week, rolled back our mask mandate at the center. So masks are optional at this point. I think unfortunately it held a lot of people back. Whenever they were ready to be done wearing them, it made them uncomfortable to still have to wear them. But then we had understanding that we were working with a very vulnerable population and some people had to. So we really kind of had to play it very safe in that. The beginning of the pandemic was more difficult because you are dealing with a much more vulnerable population in some of them, and especially when we have our meal program, you're talking about people who are at much higher risk, and we couldn't, we needed to be there for them. They were dependent on us. For a lot of them, that's the only hot meal that they're going to get all day. It's the only person they're going to see. So that needed to be our priority. But a lot of people were very afraid to come back too. It's been, the past 2.5 years have been very slow and steady, kind of getting back to, what this new normal is. But I think we're in a good place now. People are at a point where they're vaccinated, they're more comfortable, and they've navigated a couple of years of this now. So it was harder because, we were dealing with that population that everybody was like, stay home. So we tried to do some virtual programming and things like that, but people just want to be together. And considering that one of the big things that we promote is reducing isolation, and people who do live alone or don't have a large support system, being that support system for them. So when we're already dealing with isolation and trying to combat that, the pandemic really just added to that, and it made things a lot more critical, but also a lot more difficult for us. Since then, though, since we've reopened and everything has come back, we are seeing more people coming in and using the services and using the facilities. And we have people coming up to us, hey, I had this great idea for a program. I'd like to do it. Sure, let's try it. We brought in Qigong, and we added a second paint class because that was very popular. So we do have a lot of people using the center now. Within the 9 towns that we serve, at last count, I think last year we served over 1,200 people.
Wow.
Through our programs and services, regardless of what they were, about 1,200 people. And that's, again, throughout the 9 towns that we serve. We are headquartered in Old Saybrook, but we are a regional center. So making sure that we have programming for all of those towns is important to us.
That's interesting that you say that you are based in Old Saybrook, serve 9 towns. Are others individuals that are outside of the 9 towns, are they allowed to come to the facility?
They are. So we do allow our programs and services. They're open to anybody that wants to use them. Where the 9 towns really comes into play is for our nutrition and our transportation programs. Because we're funded through grants for part of those and by contracts for the other, we really have to make sure that we're staying within those 9 towns for those services. But when it comes to just coming and having, a program or coming to an event with us, it really is open to everybody. We have people coming from, Madison, Norwich, East Lyme. It really just depends on, what strikes people as something interesting. So no, we don't turn anybody away for that. Even, our programs, we have healthcare, health screenings, things like that, haircuts, foot care, that sort of thing. Those are open to everybody. Whenever it was limited, we did have to give first priority to our people who were in the towns that we serve, but we don't turn anybody away because they live out of our region.
Do you know the history of the facility of the estuary itself? When did it start? When did it become what it is?
It started in 1974, so we're pretty excited. In 2024, we have our 50th anniversary.
Oh.
So we're starting to gear up for that. So that's going to be a big year for us. But no, so it started in 74. The way it was before, there were senior clubs in each of these towns, and they were very small. So they had the idea that they would band together and form one larger organization. So they started meeting, putting everything together in 74, created the Estuary Council of Senior Clubs. It was incorporated in 75 of that following year, a few months after they first brought it all together. And it kind of moved from different building to different building. I think we were in, a town hall for a couple years. We were in I believe a VFW for a little while. So it changed and moved around until somebody donated the land to us at 220 Main Street. So in the 91, 92, in that time frame, we built what's now the senior center on that property. So it's in the, off of Main Street in Old Saybrook, and that became our permanent home. And it's just kind of grown from there. We added on the thrift store and, expanded the thrift store in the kitchen in the early 2000s, so that was a big renovation. And we've continued to try to adjust the building and modernize it, for what we need. We just underwent a large, it felt large for us, renovation where we adjusted the lobby area, so we have one door in and one door out. That was really kind of a COVID precaution, but it allowed us to brighten that whole area up. And we expanded the grounds outside to really create a wellness park with a big patio and deck and walking trail, benches, some outdoor fitness equipment that the public can use. So really just trying to continue to adapt and adjust to meet people's needs.
Is the facility part of an organization that is throughout the state of Connecticut, federal, or is it an entity just by itself?
It's an entity of itself.
Of itself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so we are not part of any larger organization. The estuary is its own thing. We do belong to different groups. There's, at the state level, the nutritional providers and senior center personnel. So there are other groups that we belong to. But as an organization, we are our own separate entity. But it also means we're not part of any municipal town. It is a privately held nonprofit.
Okay. Is there, now you had mentioned there are 17 employees at the facility. You wouldn't think that there would be. And the volunteers. Tell me about the volunteers.
So we have over 200 volunteers. They are really what keep the organization going. So we have a staff member who is our thrift store manager, but aside from that, the thrift store is all volunteer. We have volunteers that man our front desk to help people as they're coming in. And then our Meals on Wheels and nutrition program is very heavily manned by volunteers as well. They come in, they pack the meals every day. It's the volunteers who are the drivers that are taking the meals to people's homes and delivering them. So it's the volunteers that we have are critical to what we do and to keeping things going for us.
Okay, let's hold that thought. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You are tuned into Arts and Entertainment. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
You matter.
You matter.
You matter.
And your words matter too.
Your words matter.
What you say in the hallways at school or in the student section at a game matters.
Words can be hurtful.
Words can be offensive.
Words can leave scars.
Words can also inspire.
Support and uplift.
You and your words.
Are they both important?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Community TV, your neighborhood TV.
Publicly funded and a reliable partner for cable companies nationwide, it provides transparent coverage of local and state government, education, and public programming.
A digital town green that can be watched anywhere, anytime, and on any device.
Watch us on today's high-tech distribution methods.
Community TV in Connecticut.
Local,
unfiltered,
reliable, and yours.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and again, so glad that you could be here today. Hope you're enjoying the show. Well, we're highlighting the Estuary, which is based in Old Saybrook, Connecticut, and Heather Milardo continues to be my guest. And Heather, we were talking during the break as to some of the things that we didn't want to not miss out on. Let's talk about the calendar. We're in the fall of 2022. What's coming up?
So we have a lot of different things that we try to keep on the calendar to really invite the community to come and be a part of our organization. One of those that we started about 4 years ago, we have a chef's table dinner, and it really gives our kitchen staff a chance to kind of flex their muscles a little bit and show what they can do. It's a very talented group that we have back there. So, you know, it gives Aaron and Adam a chance to kind of show off some culinary skills. It's a 5-course limited seating dinner. We do it 3 each year. So we try to do one in the spring, one in the summer, one in the fall. And our fall one is coming up on October 22nd. And it's like I said, 5 courses they do. It includes craft beer and wines. We have music. It's just a nice way for people to come together, but it is limited seating, so it's a lot more intimate. And we have, you know, that information out there on our website. We have a larger scale. We're doing a prime rib dinner on November 4th that's really a little bit more open to the community, and it's on a Friday night that just lets people come together, enjoy, you know, this delicious meal that's been prepared. But it's not limited seating. So it really is a chance to really bring a lot more people in. And then we have the craft fair that's back. A lot of people look forward to that every year. So we have a craft fair the Saturday before Thanksgiving every year. We, you know, aside from our 2-year hiatus, but really excited to bring that back. We have 27 crafters that come and they bring their handmade things. So we have, you know, wreaths and pottery and woodworking. We have somebody who brings in little furniture pieces that they've made. Some jewelry, ornaments, knit items. It really, there's a lot there for people. We have about 125 people, 150 people that come through the doors throughout the day. We have breakfast, Santa comes, so you can get a nice sweet picture. You know, bring your kids or grandkids. So it's just a nice community-wide kind of event that we like to bring everybody in for. But yeah, we do things like that throughout the year. So it's just really nice to be able to open our doors and have people come in and see who we are and see what we're doing that may not necessarily be part of our daily programs. You know, it's after hours programming that highlights some of the things we do, but in a different and fun way.
What's nice is when you become a member, you get that newsletter.
Yes.
And then you get to see all of the programs that you folks offer, plus a wonderful front page cover letter from Stan,
yes,
the executive director, who says, hello, hello, hello. How does somebody become a member to be able to get that newsletter? And let's talk about the website. What would the viewer find when they go there?
So to become a member, we have no membership fees. It's as simple as a quick registration form that gives us your name, address, information. We put that into our system, and then you get the newsletter every month. The newsletter is 16 pages, jam-packed, full of all of the different activities and programs that we offer. It is also on our website, so if somebody is more inclined that way, they can subscribe, so it's emailed to them every month. It is a monthly newsletter, so it keeps people very current and up to date. But our website also has just a variety of things that we do. So we have a blog that we publish every month with just little tidbits of information that people might find helpful. This is whether it's how to stay hydrated, or it's National Nutrition Month, or hey, it's the holidays, here's some fun recipes. And then just announcements. Here are all the various things that we have coming up that we want to really highlight that you might not find in another area of our website. It has the menu. So for our lunch program and for our Meals on Wheels program, people can go on and see what's being served every day. So they know, because we do require reservations for the lunch program, so it lets them go through and choose, the shepherd's pie looks amazing, or I really love this pot roast. Whatever it is, they can call us and say, I would like lunch on the 7th, the 18th, the 25th, and they can kind of pick and choose that way, which makes it nice for them. We have a calendar of different regular events that we have, so all of our fitness classes are, when the quilters meet, when the art classes are, all of that. We have a calendar on the website as well. And then it just has different ways to contact us and different services. So, if you need a notary, we have a notary. If you want to visit the thrift store, you can visit the thrift store, especially now that that's moved off site, to be able to have that address is nice. That was a big move for us. We were pretty excited about that. So we, for those who aren't familiar with it, we used to have a thrift store on site. This year in March, we moved that off site to 889 Boston Post Road. It's about a mile down the road from us, still in Old Saybrook, but it's double the space that we had before. So it's nice, it's bright, it's open. The ladies are wonderful at what they do over there. And it's also a very big fundraising piece for us, because everything that comes into the thrift store has been donated. And then all of the proceeds raised come back to support the Meals on Wheels program and some of our other senior programming. So that's a big fundraiser for us. And we really depend on that and the ladies over there and what they do.
Stan had mentioned in my last interview just how important the thrift shop is in general, but financially to your establishment. I don't think that people would think that the thrift shop would bring in any kind of revenue at all.
It brings in quite a lot, actually. Like I said, it's one of the biggest, most consistent day-to-day fundraisers that we have, and we really depend on that piece of it to meet our goals every year. So no, the thrift store is a huge fundraising arm for us.
The facility, you had mentioned during the break you'd like to talk more about the facility. What is it that we missed?
So I had mentioned that we had undergone this kind of little renovation over COVID. In combination with the thrift store moving off site, it also opens up a lot more additional programming space. So understanding what the needs of seniors are and how they continue to change, we're starting to explore creating a wellness center in that vacated space. So really expanding the gym a little bit more, creating space. Right now we have somebody who comes in, she does massage therapy, we have haircuts, we have foot care, art therapy, all of those different things that would really be able to have their own dedicated space. So that's kind of where we are right now. And it opens up the opportunity for others to come in too and offer additional programming that we may not already have, and there's naming rights for other businesses if they wanted to get involved in that as well. So that's a big piece that we're really excited about, that we're looking forward to that getting started, because wellness is becoming a lot more important. Like, that piece of it is essential to aging in a healthy, independent way. So we're excited to explore more with what we can do with that. And we also, now that more people are becoming aware of us, we also rent our facility out. We had a seminar in there over the weekend. Somebody else is coming in for their annual board meeting. We've had, wedding receptions, baby showers. It's really just a beautiful open space to have an event. So, we do rent the space out as well for people who are looking for, an additional venue. And we're right on, very scenic North Cove. We have gorgeous views of the Cove, and with the expanded patio and deck, it just really opened it up to a much nicer space for people to explore as an event venue.
For my viewer that's out there that might like to work at the Estuary, how would somebody go about submitting themselves for you folks to take a look at them?
That would be just a phone call. We would say just call the main number of the Estuary, and you would be directed to either Stan or Sharon, who is our Director of Operations, and they could chat more about that as well. And our number is on our website, which is yourestuary.org.
The future. You mentioned the calendar. Are there plans, more expansion, more members, more this, more that, anything? You've got your 50th coming up on 2024. Is that really where you folks are at in your vibration, if you will, is 2024?
I wouldn't say that we're putting all of it into that. We're excited about it. I think a lot of from the development side of things, a lot of energy is going to go into that because it is really something that we want to market and celebrate, because 50 years, that's a long time to, and we've continued to adjust and adapt and really grow to be who we are today. And I think we want to celebrate that. So I would say from my point of view, yes, the 50th is going to be a big deal, and we're going to put a lot of energy into that. But as far as the organization as a whole, every year is a little bit different. It keeps changing. And that's one of the things is learning to adapt and really following the trends and what's happening with, with adults as they age, as we hit retirement, because the baby boomers are aging rapidly into that retirement age, and it's going to be the biggest population, growth for our organization that we've seen yet. So I think it's really just being aware of what they need and what they're interested in and adjusting for that. We have a program coordinator on staff who is really, tuned into what people are looking for and constantly creating and growing the programs and activities that we offer, and making sure that everything we're doing is meeting all of those needs. Bringing in the massage therapist was a great, that was a great move for us. We have people love that one. So it's really just, again, being in tune with people and just constantly adjusting and adapting to meet whatever the new needs are. We don't ever want to be stagnant in what we're offering to people, because people aren't stagnant.
No, they aren't. Well, I want to thank you for coming in. We've run out of time.
It's been a pleasure to be here. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Deborah.
Thank you so much. And thank you, please, to Stan and to everybody there for being a sponsor of the show. I greatly appreciate it.
Happy to do that. Thank you.
You've been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host. And again, if you'd like to volunteer in the show or you think you might be a great guest, please contact me at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.